It's just before 9 o'clock in the morning. At a flat in Liverpool, a huge police operation gets underway as officers search for 3 men suspected of murder. They're all believed to be involved in serious crime in the city, and that hasn't stopped for COVID-19.
Put your leg out, lad, now! Leg out!
So we've had about 5 firearms discharges since we've been in lockdown in Merseyside. 3 of those were injury discharges, 1 was fatal.
Detective Chief Superintendent Mark KAMEEN has seen some offences like shoplifting and burglary fall since the crisis began, but serious crime has spiked.
Coronavirus has had an impact on our ports and our transport networks, not just in the UK, but right across the globe, as we all know. What that means is the supply and availability of drugs, both Class A, Class B, has started to dry up. So it's more scarce. Prices have started to rise as a result of that. And also what we've seen is an escalation in some areas of some violence as criminals try and obtain the drugs that are left.
On a quiet suburban street, this is a terrible reminder of the cost. Last month, in the space of a week, 2 young men were brutally killed in separate incidents.
Absolutely tragic crimes at any time, but I think it just added an extra layer of concern for the community because of the circumstances that, you know, we're all living in at the moment.
And this happening right in the middle of lockdown?
Yes, it did, yeah.
Since the outbreak began, his team have made a number of arrests related to gang violence.
Are you surprised that the gangs are still operating at this level despite the lockdown?
I wouldn't say I'm surprised. I mean, these are people who have no regard for the law 24/7, 365, you know, so additional laws around the virus aren't going to dissuade them from doing what they do.
At Liverpool's Lime Street station, officers are trying to stay one step ahead of a criminal network that's been quick to adapt to the crisis.
So what's really striking is how empty this place is and how people who are up to no good are standing out. How are criminals trying to get round that at the moment?
We see people sometimes dressing up as key workers and like trying to blend in, looking like they are going to and from work when they're not. And I think for me, it just shows the fact that we're in lockdown is irrelevant to them. The fact that they might be transporting COVID as well as drugs across the country is irrelevant to them.
Some of those being stopped and searched are little more than children, too vulnerable to have predicted how difficult it would be to pass unnoticed through such deserted spaces.
Within Merseyside, we've got children as young as 12 or 13 involved in gangs. It is a big problem, and they are exploited because they're young, they're naive, they think that they're trusted members of this group when really they're not.
In just a couple of hours, 2 people are detained, including a 21-year-old carrying 200 wraps of cocaine. These images showing some of the 3,000 cannabis plants the force has seized since the lockdown began, more than double the amount over the same period last year. Today's raids have paid off with 3 major arrests across the city. But it's another reminder that a lockdown designed to save lives means nothing to criminals willing to take them. Rachel Younger, News at 10, Liverpool.